What happens when we die? It's a question as old as humanity itself. For centuries we've turned to faith and philosophy, but now science is joining the search. What becomes of our thoughts, memories, and feelings when the body fails? The answer lies not in the stars but within the 3-pound universe inside our skulls. Consciousness is our greatest mystery, an inner world only we can experience. Despite mapping galaxies and decoding genomes, we still don't know how the brain creates this vivid sense of self. When the heart stops, the brain's electrical symphony fades and the body returns to the cosmos. But is consciousness just a byproduct of the machine, or could a trace of you persist, even briefly, after death? As we explore the edge of life, we'll examine the science, the stories, and the mysteries that surround our final moments. What secrets might the brain's last flickers reveal? Consciousness is your private, subjective awareness. The taste of a strawberry, the memory of your childhood, the feeling that you are you. Scientists split it into arousal, being awake, and awareness, the content of experience. We can measure brain activity, but we can't see the experience itself, the redness of red. This is the hard problem. How does physical brain activity create rich, subjective experience? Dualism once claimed mind and body were separate, but most neuroscientists now see consciousness as a product of the brain's complex activity. Still, the mystery deepens. If reality is built from neural patterns, what happens when the brain shuts down? Does consciousness vanish? Or could the information that makes you exist in another form? When the machine stops, does the program disappear, or is there more to the story? What happens to the ghost when the machine finally breaks down? To truly understand what might happen to our consciousness after death, a question that has haunted humanity for millennia, we must first meticulously examine what happens to the intricate machinery of the brain as it begins to shut down, as it dies. We need to understand the sequence of events at the very end. Death, as we are learning, is not a sudden switch flipped from on to off, but rather a gradual process, a cascade of events beginning inevitably with the heart's last faltering beat. This triggers a chain reaction, leading to the brain's desperate, almost frantic struggle for oxygen, its lifeblood. Within a matter of seconds, the complex rhythmic dance of normal brain activity begins to collapse, the intricate patterns fading away. Yet paradoxically, a final fleeting surge of synchronized neural firing can occur, a last brilliant flare of electrical activity, a final burst of energy. Intriguingly, some animal studies suggest that this surge is not random, but is often more organized and coherent than the brain activity observed during waking life, raising profound questions about its true purpose and significance. What is the brain trying to accomplish in its final moments? Is it merely a chaotic discharge, a random misfiring of dying neurons? Or could this final burst of activity somehow explain the incredibly vivid and often transformative experiences reported by individuals who have been revived from clinical death? After this enigmatic surge, the brain falls silent, flatlines and the delicate neurons, the building blocks of our minds, begin to die one by one. The intricate structure that once held a lifetime of cherished memories, experiences, and knowledge slowly dissolves, breaks down. But if, as some theories suggest, consciousness is fundamentally information, a pattern of data, how long does that information, that unique pattern that defines us, persist after the lights go out, after the brain ceases to function? Is there a fleeting window, a brief moment in time where the mind's essential data still exists, perhaps in a fragmented form, before it is irretrievably lost forever? The brain's final act, this cascade of events at the end of life, may hold crucial clues, tantalizing hints, to the ultimate fate of our inner world, our consciousness. For as long as we've pulled people back from the very edge of existence, snatching them from the jaws of death, we've been captivated by their stories. The enigmatic tales of near-death experiences, or NDEs as they're often called. These accounts offer a glimpse into what lies beyond, or perhaps what our minds conjure in the face of oblivion. Across cultures and throughout history, people who have brushed with death describe remarkably similar phenomena, including the sensation of leaving their physical bodies, seeing tunnels of light beckoning them forward, and encountering deceased loved ones, as if being welcomed into another realm. These experiences are often reported as profoundly transformative, feeling more vivid and real than everyday reality itself. Take the case of Dr. Eben Alexander, a highly respected neurosurgeon who, after a severe coma characterized by a complete absence of cortical activity, miraculously returned to consciousness with incredibly vivid and detailed memories of a transcendent realm, challenging his own scientific understanding. Or consider Pam Reynolds, who during a complex brain surgery that required her brainwaves to be flatlined, was able to accurately describe specific details of her operation, details she couldn't possibly have known through conventional means. Are these extraordinary glimpses of another reality, a peek behind the curtain of life, or simply the brain's last, desperate fireworks display? Science offers a more grounded explanation, suggesting that a dying brain could release a flood of chemicals, triggering these intense and often comforting sensations. But can such a simple explanation fully account for the profound clarity, the intricate structure, and the verifiable details that some individuals report experiencing? Are these experiences merely hallucinations, elaborate fabrications of a mind facing its end? Or could the brain be acting as a receiver, tuning into a frequency, a reality, that exists beyond our current understanding? NDEs force us to confront fundamental questions, challenging our very understanding of consciousness and its fate at the edge of life. What if the mind's final moments are not just a fading dream, but a gateway to something more, something profound, something yet to be discovered? Science, in its relentless pursuit of understanding, can't simply ignore the thousands of reported near-death experiences, or NDEs. These profound events, often occurring during moments of extreme physical trauma, present a unique challenge to our current scientific understanding of consciousness. Given the sheer volume and consistency of these accounts, researchers are compelled to put them to the test, employing rigorous scientific methodologies to explore the nature of consciousness and its potential existence beyond the confines of the physical body. In hospitals around the world, scientists meticulously monitor patients during cardiac arrest, a critical state where brain activity is significantly reduced or even absent. Their goal is to catch consciousness in the act, to observe and record any signs of awareness or cognitive function during this period of clinical death. Some studies employ clever experimental designs, placing hidden images or objects high in rooms, out of the line of sight of a supine patient. This is to test if out-of-body experiencers during their NDEs can accurately report what only a floating observer, detached from their physical body, could possibly see. While these experiments have yet to yield definitive hits, concrete, irrefutable evidence, the search continues with unwavering dedication and refinement of methodologies. Other researchers are focusing on the intricate brain's chemical storm that occurs during the dying process, seeking to correlate specific neurochemical events with the subjective experiences reported in NDEs. They investigate the role of opioids, which may contribute to feelings of peace and tranquility, glutamate, a neurotransmitter potentially linked to vivid visions and altered perceptions, and the chaotic firing of memory centers, which could explain the life reviews often described by experiencers. While these neurochemical models can explain much of what occurs during an NDE, they often fall short of accounting for the full clarity, complexity, and verifiable details reported in some NDE accounts. Especially puzzling and difficult to reconcile with current scientific understanding are cases like that of Pam Reynolds, where awareness, detailed and coherent, seems to persist even during periods of complete brain inactivity, as measured by standard medical equipment. Science therefore stands at a crossroads, grappling with these challenging findings. We have strong, well-supported biological theories to explain consciousness, but also stubborn data from NDEs that doesn't quite fit neatly into these established frameworks. This raises a fundamental question. Is there a missing piece to the puzzle, a mechanism or aspect of consciousness that exists beyond what we currently know and can measure? The quest to understand NDEs, with all its complexities and contradictions, is pushing the boundaries of science to its very limits, forcing us to confront the deepest mysteries of existence. Are we on the verge of a new, paradigm-shifting understanding of consciousness and its relationship to the brain? Or are we merely scratching the surface of an even deeper enigma? For now, the mystery endures, beckoning us to continue exploring the uncharted territories of the human mind and the nature of reality itself. The AWARE study led by Dr. Sam Parnia is the most ambitious probe into consciousness after death. Researchers interviewed cardiac arrest survivors, placed visual targets, and monitored brain activity during resuscitation. Nearly 40% of survivors reported memories or perceptions during unconsciousness, some with structured, detailed recollections. Astonishingly, a few recalled real events from the operating room after their hearts had stopped. EEG data revealed brain activity, sometimes linked to conscious thought, persisting up to an hour into CPR. This challenges the idea that the brain shuts down instantly after the heart stops. The process of brain death is slower and more complex than we thought. This opens a window for conscious experiences during clinical death itself. But is this lingering awareness fragmented, or the vivid, hyper-real state survivors describe? The findings raise more questions than answers about the mind's resilience at the edge of life. Science's search for answers collides with centuries of spiritual and philosophical thought. Many traditions speak of a soul and immortal essence that survives death. Science, rooted in materialism, sees consciousness as a product of the brain's physical processes. When the brain dies, so does the mind, like a song ending when the orchestra stops. This creates a profound impasse: materialism versus dualism, evidence versus meaning. Near-death experiences become a battleground. Are they brain-based hallucinations or proof of a deeper reality? Some modern theories try to bridge the gap. Panpsychism suggests consciousness is a basic property of all matter. Quantum theories propose consciousness as information that might survive biological death. Could these ideas offer a third way, a scientific framework where consciousness is part of the universe, not just the brain? The debate is far from settled. The mystery of consciousness endures at the crossroads of science and spirit. As science advances, the mystery of consciousness and death only deepens. Studies like AWARE show the brain can remain active long after the heart stops. But what is the quality of this lingering awareness? Are these brain signals just noise, or do they represent real subjective experience? Can technology ever let us communicate with people in this state, or capture their inner world? If verifiable perceptions occur when the brain is offline, where is that information stored? Is the brain a generator or a receiver of consciousness? Could consciousness be non-local, like quantum entanglement, defying our current understanding of physics? The biggest question remains: can the information that makes up a mind persist after the brain decays? The search for answers pushes us to the very edge of science. We began with a simple question: what happens when we die? The answer is anything but simple. Science reveals death as a process, not a moment, with the brain's final act more complex than we imagine. Near-death experiences suggest something remarkable happens in this twilight, sometimes more real than reality itself. The boundary between life and death is more porous than we thought. We have models for how the brain might create these experiences, but mysteries remain. We can't fully explain verifiable out-of-body observations or the true nature of lingering brain activity. The hard problem, how matter creates experience, still haunts us. The most powerful stories challenge the idea that it's all just a dying brain's illusion, so we stand at the edge of the greatest mystery, with new knowledge and deeper questions. Is consciousness a brief spark, or a fundamental part of the universe, a light that death can never truly extinguish?